Hi, can you, I guess you can hear me.
Hi.
Okay. Hi, everyone. This is the cheesy Django tutorial.
It's an intro to Django, and it's beginner friendly. But, all levels welcome.
And this is part one of the tutorial. This is Audrey Roy.
Hi.
And I'm Daniel Greenfeld. Okay.
And the slides that you'll see are adapted from this unreleased book that we've been working on, an Intro to Django book. And we decided to fill in today for a tutorial that got canceled. So just please be kind. We had less than 48 hours to put this together, so we really tried and did our best.
But to assure you, the material has been around for a while, and we've iterated over it several times. It's just converting it to slides in this format is a bit different than what we intended to do. But it's our second book. This is our first book, which is, again, see?
Two Scoops
of Django. This is not what we're teaching today. This is the book that I guess would follow this.
Yeah, this is a book on Django best practices, so it's not a tutorial. We do have copies available for sale after if anyone is interested in learning more about Django.
So, oops, I can't see it.
Just a minute.
Oh, there we go.
Let me do full screen.
I'll do full screen. Can everybody see that okay? Even in the back? Raise your hands if you can't see it in the back. Okay, good. Since no hands are raised. You wanna? Okay.
So to make this a little more fun, we have a little scenario. So Danny and I are a couple of very excited, eager entrepreneurs. We have this great idea.
It's a vision. It's not just an idea.
Yeah, it's great, and we do development, but we've convinced you to sign on as our CTO. So you will be building this idea of ours, yeah. So Danny's the CEO. I'm the Chief Cheese Officer, since it's a cheese startup.
It's called Cheesely, cheesely.me. It'll be up soon. It's Web 3.0. We've explored a lot of user experience concepts. What else about it can we explain to people?
We don't have funding, so we're really sorry we can't pay you to build this. But
it's going to make gajillions. We're going to be rich.
We'll give you equity, we promise.
So when we're doing this, we're not just, please don't just think of yourself as an individual student in the room. Take a moment to remember to ask questions. If you get stuck on something for a few minutes and you're lost, raise your hand, ask the person next to you. There will be some debugging, because if you've done any kind of software development, there's always debugging.
Yeah, and think of this as a community tutorial. So please help each other. If you finish part of it early, check on your neighbors and see how they're doing and help them.
Yeah, in fact, with your neighbors, it's a good idea to know them, because here at Europython, there's this guy named Larry Hastings. I think he's running the C Python tutorial. I met him when I was a beginner in Python 6 or 7 years ago at PyCon US, and I've known him ever since. So the people you meet today or at this event and the tutorials are people you're going to remember forever.
Okay, so actually, if we could just take a moment to say hello and introduce yourself to 2 or 3 people next to you. Go ahead and do that now.
Hi, I'm Danny.
Hey, I'm Audrey.
You want? Okay, let's. Since I guess we're all friends now, let's. I'm gonna cut the social out. Okay. We could just go and get beer and wine and. Okay, let's start up again. All right, another thing I'm gonna bring up is we do have all the software locally, but it's awesome when you can just do a practice you're gonna do for real, which is pip install X. I doubt we're gonna be able to do that, but you never know. And one of the ways that'll help if that happens is be nice to your other attendees at the conference. Even when you leave here, be nice about this. Like, don't stay on SSH to your target server. Don't watch videos. Don't be that person who's downloading the latest Ubuntu distribution. Just wait till you get back to. There's always, I can tell you, there's always one in a tutorial who's doing it. So, and it's often me. But
and also, you may know that that you can use pip to install packages into a virtual env. You can also use, using pip, you can have the package fetched from the Python package index, but if you already have the package file as you should from the USB sticks, you can just unzip it and run python setup.py install with your virtual env active, and that will install it locally without any need to connect to Wi-Fi. Don't do that right now because we will go through that together in the next
slides.
Family.
Yeah.
As a family.
We're going to get through the course as far as we can. We'll see how far we get. All right, let's begin. Let's go over tools and environment. Hopefully this will be really quick because everybody's already set up and ready, but you never know. First thing is you can be a Python hipster if you want. Python 3 hipster. So Python 3 is the new cool way of doing things. The Python Software Foundation says so.
Yeah, so if you attended Van Lindbergh's opening keynote, he asked people to do a show of hands and raise your hand if you're using Python 3. And so I was just curious, raise your hand if you used Python 3 before. Good
oh, cool, awesome.
That's great.
The course, you don't have to use Python 3, but or you can use Python 2.7. Python 2.4 is right out.
Did you go over the steps?
Oh, does everybody have?
So,
oh, go ahead. You talk.
So if you open up your terminal and you type Python 3.3 like that, you can pull up the Python 3.3 interactive interpreter if you have it installed. So
or if you just type Python, you get the Python 2.7 interpreter. Right?
Unless 3.3 is your default. So go ahead and do that now. And if you want to know where it is on your system, if you have it installed, you can type which Python 3.3 and find it.
Is 3.2 enough? If I don't have 3.3?
I don't know if it'll work with Django 1.6 or 1.5. It's.
I think so. I think so. I'm not 100. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. If you have a choice between 2.7 and 3.2 for this course, I would suggest 2.7 because we haven't tested it with 3.2. Okay.
Just check.
Yeah. Is everybody good? Can we move forward? Okay, I'm going to take that as an affirmative. Okay, or as we said, you can use whatever else you have. Like if you want to check the version of Python, which is your default, you type Python -- version, and you can find out what your default is.
Yeah. So try doing this now and check and see what your neighbors have. It's good to know what your neighbors are working with in case you have any differences.
Okay. All right. Anyone need any help? Can we move forward? Okay, we're gonna move forward. All right. Does anyone here not have virtual env installed? Raise your hand if you do not have it.
Okay, good number.
Okay. So let's take a moment to install it. If you are sitting next to someone who doesn't have it installed, if you can help them, and Audrey and I will walk around real quick, and this is what we call an install party, where this is a moment of celebration, and now you can socialize without us bugging you.
Yeah. So the
Okay,
first
you've got him.
the first part here.
Yes. Okay.
The first part here is just the part to get the file, which if you have it from your USB stick, of course you don't need to do that. When you have the file, you just untar it, and in the next step, we will let's see. And then in the next step, this is how you install it system-wide. And it's a good idea to have it installed system-wide on your computer. I think that might be what you were asking. If you already have it installed and you, or if you installed pip and virtualenv a while back and you just want to upgrade it, you can do that. Ooh. Okay, that's a bug. Python 3.3 setup.py install.
Excuse me, does anyone have a lot of experience with using VirtualBox on Windows? Someone who's on a Windows machine but is using VirtualBox to host an Ubuntu distribution. Okay, I think we have.
Any questions? Just curious, how many Windows users do we have? Okay, so, okay, I have some experience with Windows, so how are you Windows users doing? Everything installed?
Install and pip
Okay.
and virtualenv are installed on 2.7. Now I just installed 3.3.
Okay.
Still wondering if that's going to cost me what.
Okay. If you're concerned, you might want to just use 2.7 and just create a virtual on the 2.7. There's only one part, literally like one name of a function that's different from in our tutorial between 2.7 and 3. Oh, is there a different Windows installer for
No, I'm just wondering if there's a column.
Yeah, maybe.
Okay, who here is not ready, does not have their virtualenv ready? 1 more minute. Okay, 1 more minute.
You're doing okay here? Okay. And everything okay? That's fine. We just showed that as an example because some people don't know
it back to here, or 2 forward?
Virtual end.
This one?
Virtual end.
This one?
Yeah.
Okay. Should we move on?
Okay, yeah.
Would it be helpful? Would it be helpful if the Windows users move together, or are you guys okay on your own? Okay, so we'll see how it goes.
If you want to trade with someone and sit closer,
Yeah.
that's fine. Okay.
What's up? Okay. Let me come over there for a second. Or do you want to go over there and try to help her? Okay. All right. And what I'll do is I'll move forward and we'll just make sure that you're caught up. Okay. All right. So now if you haven't already, go into the virtual env directory that of the file that you've brought in and unzipped, and sudo python or python 3.3 setup.py install to install virtual env. Has everyone done that? Okay. Has anyone not done this? Okay. All right, then I will move forward. Okay. All right, in your favorite place to create a project, to create virtual envs, create a directory to store your virtual environments. This should not go into your project repo. This should be outside of your project repo. So what we like to do is we go cd tilde to the root of our hard drive, and then we make dir a .virtualenvs, and then this is where we actually build, where we do our, or this is where we use virtual env. And this is kind of the same pattern that virtual env wrapper does. We're not getting into virtual env wrapper, but at some point when you think you're really cool, you can do that.
Yeah, it's in the future, if you install virtual env wrapper, you'll already be all set for it with its defaults if you put your virtual envs in there.
Yeah, and then this is how I normally do it because I'm not a hipster. I just type inside this directory, the .virtualenvs, I will type virtual env space Cheesley, because that's the name of our project.
Yeah, so here Cheesley is the name of the virtual env that we're creating. I like to name the virtual env the same name as the project I'm creating it for, just because it's convenient.
Yes, sir, over there.
Virtual env lets you specify a destination directory. Should we do this here?
If that's how you want to do it, this is just easier in front of a room full of people. So.
Oh, it doesn't work.
Okay, anyone else having any problems? Yes, sir. So just to let everybody know, this is the slow part of a lot of Django or any kind of tutorial where you're working with a lot of the standard Python tools. The setup just takes a little bit of time. But once you have it forever, or you're familiar with it, and it doesn't take as much time to set up. Does anyone else need assistance? Okay.
So if you've already created your virtual env, you can activate it. Activating it means that once it's activated, you'll be using the Python interpreter from within that virtual env. It's kind of like a nice little self-contained bubble containing dependencies, and in a way that it doesn't interact. It doesn't when you have that activated. It doesn't, later on when you install packages, instead of installing packages to your whole system, you end up just installing them into that little bubble. Oh, really? Oh, okay. Okay, so source, source the activate script within the virtual env, and that will activate it. What that will give you is this this nice little prefix before your prompt. So yeah, do that and make sure you see that. If you just use an absolute path over here to source it. Yeah, I guess on Windows you wouldn't use source. You would just run the BAT file. All right. Yeah, it doesn't matter which directory you're doing it from.
Okay. So does everybody have I know we're waiting on one person back there in the back left corner. Audrey's gonna help him. Does everybody have their virtual env started where you can see Cheesley as a prefix for the shell? Everyone good? Is there anyone who does not have this? Raise your hand. Okay, all right, waiting on this gentleman. So everyone has favorite cheeses. I guess we'll get to play with those today.
We have a problem. It says Python 2.7 instead of Python 2.3. When I say Python version, yeah, it should be Python 2.7.
What that means is you probably didn't start your virtual with the right version of Python. I believe you can specify it. This is the hipster way.
Okay.
Yeah. Just to let everybody know, this might seem a little bit painful. We're actually, with this part of the tutorial, and I'm going to see if this guy's going to back me up here, because he's been running events this whole week. We're actually making fantastic progress on this. So this might seem like it's taking a while, but it isn't. How are we doing? Is this good, bad progress? So it's quite good. And then he's Italian, so we know these guys are honest about quality. Okay. Yes, sir.
Are these slides going to be available?
They're not in any kind of format that we can transmit besides HTML, and I'm already seeing some of the errors. So at this time, we're not going to be able to do it. So in a future effort, I'm sorry. I wish you were a little bit more prepared. Okay, so is everyone good? Can I move forward? All right, awesome. Okay, you already have. Don't worry about this. Just ignore this top part because it looks like that people are having problems with the network. Instead, go to where you have your Django file, or your Django 1.6b1.tar.gz, and type tar xzvf. And don't worry if you can't remember that, because no one, I can never do that. And then type dja and tab complete. Don't type this out. And I think the Windows users might have a little bit of problem with it. I don't know if the command works that way on Windows, but what they should be able to do is right-click on a file browser, or I guess, I forget what they call it on Windows. Right-click on it and open it, and it should open. What should be sudo? Oh, don't sudo this. Hold on, let me fix that slide. Should I fix it, or I'll just put my hand here? Do not do you. Okay, I've got two. Oh no. Yeah, I won't. I don't think that'll do system-wide because they're already into. Yeah. Yeah, I'm not. Yeah. Yeah. So this is my mistake. So unfortunately, Audrey didn't catch it until now. Yes, sir.
Should we have all the tutorial files in that cheeselink directory, or?
You can put them wherever you want, where you feel is comfortable for you. It doesn't really matter. Just make sure it's in a place that you're not going to lose, because we're going to revisit it and install packages. We could have you install everything at once, but that's not how real development works. Real development works, you might have several packages you install at first, and then there's always that package you add in later on. Oops, sudo. All right. I'm going to assume you guys know not to do this, and if you're watching from some other part of the planet, don't. I'm putting my hand here for a reason. Okay, is everyone good? Does everybody have Django installed? Does anyone not have Django installed? Raise your hand. Okay. Do you need help, or is it just? Okay.
globally outside of the virtual land. So is it
Testing. Okay. How are we doing? Is anyone still installing Django, or are we in Django installed? Oh, one more. I see you over there. Thank you so much for helping out back there. Let's see what's in. Okay, we're going to wait another 30 seconds. Since we're waiting, who here is from Europe? Raise your hand. Who here is from North America? Raise your hand. South America? Oh, wow, South America, awesome. Oh, but you live in Europe. Australia, anyone from Australia? Asia, raise your hand. Antarctica? No? Okay, so we have one from Antarctica. Africa? Okay, there we go. Awesome. So this is a global audience. Is there any continent I didn't name? Did I get all of them? Oh. Okay, we're going to move forward. I know you're almost there, but we're testing it now. Just one of the things you can do now is in your shell, just type Django dash, you can type Django tab complete, and you should get mn.py. If you don't, just type it out, and then dash dash version, and you should get 1.6.1b. And this is the end of the always the painful part of a tutorial, which is the initial installation phase. So now we can get into like cool stuff, fun stuff. What's that? Yeah, 1.6. Oh, it's B1. Oh, okay. Okay. Here, I'm gonna. Okay. So everyone has Django installed. Everyone has virtual and EMV installed. I know Audrey's working with that gentleman, and that gentleman's working with that nice lady. Should I proceed forward? Okay. Actually, what's your name, sir? Leo? Okay. How are things right there? Okay. Is there any chance that maybe you could pair program with her, and so that way you could pair program with her? Is there any chance? And then one of the things we can do is after the course we can look at getting this, because I don't want you to miss out on it. Okay. Yeah. So if we can rejigger where people are sitting, then you can pair program, and both of you are okay with that? Okay. Awesome. Thank you so much, Leo. And what's your name? Inuan? Iliana? Okay. You correct me later. I'm so sorry. Okay. So, yes. Okay, so fixing slides on the fly. Okay, so we're going to proceed forward. Is everyone okay? Can I move forward? I know there's two people. Were you going to sit together or? Okay. Okay. All right. We're going to get into basic project setup for Django. Actually, before we get into this is actually a little bit of a contentious subject in Django. There's a lot of different ways to do it. This is our way, but other people advocate a different path for laying out a project. That's okay, as long as all the project folders at some level are under the same directory. So you don't want to have your templates outside the basic project. That's an unfortunately semi-common problem. But anyway, so this is how we do it. In your favorite place to build projects and work on code, create a new Cheesely directory for the Windows users. Instead of mkdir, you type, I guess, md. And also the other thing, I'm going to return back a few slides. We forgot our transition. So here we're doing Cheesely to save on screen space because we're in a pixel shortage. We're just going with the $sign to represent that there's Cheesely in parentheses right here, and then make dir Cheesely repo. So make sure you're in your favorite project directory, but not where your virtual env is, and create that Cheesely repo. This is a top-level directory of the project itself.
So it's above the project directory in our virtual.
Yes, it is. Like if you have a projects directory on your laptop, like I always have one at my user root called projects, and that's where I create new projects. Audrey uses code. She's crazy and edgy, but I'd use projects.
Is there a reason why often in the past I've created, for example, that Cheesely repo inside the virtual environment? You don't want to do that.
No, you don't want to do that because when you do that, you are risking putting that virtual environment in version control, which is just not a good thing. So we want to completely divorce it. And the other thing is, and when you do that, let's say for example, for whatever reason those files get in there, and I'm working on your project, and my setup, my laptop is different, or it goes to production, then you're polluting things. So that's why we want to completely physically separate those. I know that's not the correct term, but I think when we refactor these slides, we'll make an example of, up here we have the virtual environments. Here in our favorite projects directory is where we put our actual projects. So once you've created that Cheesely repo, change directory into it, and then inside of it just type django-admin.py space start project and Cheesely. And then once you do that, you can actually look at the file that you've created and explore it, and you can see the at the top level you'll see that there's just the Cheesely directory, or the Cheesely directory that this created, and inside of that you'll see files like manage.py, another directory called Cheesely inside of that. Awesome. Someone's done good. Okay. Okay, how's everyone doing? Okay, you can raise your hand if you need help. If you're having any issues with this, just raise your hand. Okay. All right. You can change the name. That's how but it's a pain to script that out, because the start template or the start project template. Yeah, I want to see them. I want to see it possible to actually pass in more fields. A little bit confusing. Yeah. Okay. All right. Does anyone need help, or can I progress forward? Okay, raise your hand if you need help. All right, we're good. So, okay. This is a format we're going to follow through the course. We're going to show you code. This is this nice little code block. And then up here, we're going to show you the file that we're touching at this time. So you can expect this. And I believe we have this for every code example in this tutorial. So you never have to worry about getting lost. We spell these things out for you. So we're going to go really deep into the cheese. Sorry, that's so bad. So all the way down into Cheesely repo, Cheesely, settings.py. This is where we configure Django. And inside of there, if you do a search on databases, if it's not there, I think this is already there. Django itself creates this where you should see this file, or this setting right here. Don't change anything if it looks good. We'll highlight things that you're supposed to change as that occurs. But just confirm if you see this in your settings.py, that's very deep in the cheese. Raise your hand if you see it, and it looks like that. Okay, who doesn't see that and they're very deep in the cheese? Okay, so we have one there. So just to let you know, we're using SQLite for this demo, or for this tutorial. We're not doing this today, but we're big Postgres users. So this is, and Postgres is a favorite database used by Django developers. A lot of people also use MySQL, but for the tutorial, we're just using SQLite because it's installed on everybody's machine already. So anyone here done mobile development, like on a mobile device, Android or iPhone? So what's the database that they use on those things? Yeah, so yeah, we're using it's SQLite. It's the most commonly used, or the most used database in the world is SQLite. It's not Oracle, it's not MySQL, it's SQLite. Okay. Okay, let's do a quick show of hands. Who has confirmed that they see this in their file? Raise their hand. Okay, good. So I'm going to move forward. Okay. Now we're going to sync our DB. Go up to this level in your terminal. So you should be in your terminal. You should have changed directory, or if you could, please go to Cheesely repo/Cheesely. And once you're there, and again, there's supposed to be the Cheesely thing there, but we removed that for the sake of brevity. And then type Python manage.py syncdb. And then enter, yes sir? A super user? Yes. This is what the second code block here says. I don't think the code block is showing up. Can you see this as being shaded over there? I guess not. Okay. So this is the second code block. So apparently we're having a slight slides difficulty. This is where it's saying, create a super user. So put in your username. I use Pydana. You can use whatever you want. Put in an email address, and then enter a password. Don't make it a strong password. Don't worry about it. Don't make it something you're going to forget. Do something simple like 1, 2, 3. This is for now. This is for early stage development. Because at some point, at this level, at this stage of development, you're going to lose the database. We're going to have to destroy it, or we're going to get rid of the user data. Just get through it quickly. Don't sweat the password. Okay. And then you should, once it should like say install it, creating this table and doing this, and it should be done in a little bit. Yes, sir. Hold on, I'll be. Okay, how are we doing? Okay. Does anyone need help, or can I move forward? Raise your hand if you need more time or more help. Okay. I'm going to move forward. Excuse me, sir in the orange shirt, what's your name? Yeah, you. Job? Oh, nice name. How's it going over there? Is he good? Okay. The gentleman next to him, I think, has to switch to Python 2.7 because he's getting a weird SQLite error running under Python 3.3.0. Yeah, I don't know if there's an incompatibility with Django 1.6 and SQLite. I know of another bug with SQLite 3 and in his? Yeah, so, okay. All right. Thank you, Job. So let's give Job a hand. He's been like on fire back there. So buy him a drink tonight. Here, just toss it. Okay. All right. Okay, let's try Django. Let's see if it works. Up on the shell, type python manage.py run server, and you should get something that looks like this block. During the break, we'll add a style into the sides to make this darker. But once you get run server running, then go to the home. Go home. That means go to this in your browser, http://127.0.0.1 and you should get something that's pretty ugly. But it lets you know that Django's working. You got it? Raise your hand as you get it. I want to see, like, it's kind of like a, you can put your hand down. It's just kind of like this pop-up thing. Okay. Awesome. Okay, yeah. Okay. Everyone good? I think pretty much everyone's given me a raised hand. Anyone not get this one down? Oh, are you good? Oh, you're raising your hand because you're good. Okay, sorry. Okay. All right, then I'm going to move forward unless, okay, raise your hand if you haven't seen this yet. If you haven't seen the original screen. Okay, I'm going to go forward. Okay. We have, what this means is that when you can see that, that means that you have Django running, so woohoo, we've got a victory. We have finished what'll be a chapter in the book. This beginning part is the most unpleasant part of any Python project development. I just wish it were easier. But now it gets to be a little bit more interesting. Since we're doing our startup, we need to think about user experience and graphic design and stuff like that. So we're going to work on the front end of Cheesely. And we found this great little framework called Twitter Bootstrap. And I'm being a little bit sarcastic there. I mean, it's great, but it's not distinctive. What I want you to do is go to, oops, this is a mistake. This does not exist yet, the static. Go to Cheesely_repo, Cheesely in your terminal, and type make dir static, or for our friendly Windows users, just md static. And ignore this, because it's going to exist once you do that. Yeah, stop the server, or you can create a new terminal window if you're familiar with doing that. So, okay, I'm going to move my hand. And then once you do that, in the settings file that's deep in the cheese, if you remember that, you're going to want to add these 4 lines of code. What's that? To the end. To the end of the file. Append that to the end of the settings file that's deep in the cheese.
The static part is generated automatically when you do the settings.
Oh, it is already there.
It's already in there.
Oh, okay. So if this is already there, if you already see this somewhere in your settings up high, you don't need to.
Just the URL is there.
Oh, the URL is there.
Same does not.
Okay. And you don't have to type the comments if you don't want to. That's up to you. We like to comment our code, but in a tutorial we understand if you skip it. Yes, sir?
You need that last phrase in the bottom.
This one right here? Yes, you do need that. Because you open it here and then you close it there. And then you can test if you did that right by starting up the server and check run server, and if it crashes, then you know you did it wrong. Well, just to make sure that you didn't like forget the closing parentheses or okay, raise your hand as you get this down so I can see it, or if you've done it. Okay. Okay. No, you shouldn't see anything new in this example. He pointed out that it's already there. You shouldn't see any difference. If it loads the same, that means you're winning. If it breaks, that means you're losing. Okay. How's everyone doing? Anyone need any help? Okay. Yes. Okay, I'm going to move forward. Oh, yes, sir.
I missed a couple of things because I was busy. Is it expected that the static spout assignment there is not there when I begin?
Yes. So you need to make it. This is a bug, a typo. So don't. This does not exist. We are creating it. So you go to the Cheesly repo /Cheesly, type mkdir static. So we have that file there. And then inside your settings, you should see this stuff there. And then the way to test is you just start up the server again, you get run server going, and you check the browser. If nothing's changed, that means it's working. If it crashes, then there's something wrong. So, okay. I'm going to move forward. Job, are you good? Okay. All right, now, on the USB stick, we have Twitter Bootstrap. So you should have that on your laptops. And so we have, hopefully everyone can see this. I can see it nicely, but I'm up close. So this is where we've stored our Bootstrap files. And inside Bootstrap, which Audrey has so nicely unzipped for me, I can see that there's a CSS file, an image file, and a JavaScript file. I want to copy and paste those right inside my Cheesly repo, Cheesly static directory that I just created. Just copy and paste those. Yes, these 3 directories, CSS, image, or IMG, and JS, those go right here. Here, I'll animate it.
They go where?
They go into the Cheesly repo, Cheesly static. They are our static assets. Do you want me to animate that again? I can run it again if you like. Okay, ready? So here we go. I'm animating. Okay. So I want to get Walt Disney Animation Studios to do a really good animation. Thank you. Okay. Did everybody copy those files over? So, Job.
Yeah, is it possible that I again cannot see certain text where it seems very empty?
This one or this one?
What do you need to do?
Okay, so with the files that we gave you, there was a Twitter Bootstrap zip file. If you could uncompress it, take the 3 directories that are there, and copy and paste that into the static directory that we had you create in the last slide. Okay. Okay, raise your hand as you get this one down. Awesome. Okay, does anyone need more time with this one? Okay, I'll move forward then. Okay, we also have jQuery, which should go as well, and this should be in what you have. This also goes into the JS directory. So the jQuery.js file that you have locally goes into Cheesly repo, Cheesly static JS. Okay. Raise your hand as you get this done. Yeah, that's what we're asking you to do. Grab the jQuery from the USB key and use that one. It doesn't matter. We're not the only reason why we're using jQuery is because Twitter Bootstrap needs it. We'll get to Python code soon, I promise. What's that? Yeah. Okay, I'm going to move on forward. I'm going to assume we have this done. Okay, back to deep into our cheese at the settings level, or the settings file. Check to see whether or not there's a template_ders directory. It has to be uppercase. And this is the line of code that you want. If it's not there, then you're going to have to write it. I believe that's one we add ourselves for some. What's that? You can put it right at the bottom. It doesn't matter. Yeah, at the bottom is best. And then the way to test whether or not you have this correct, again, is start up run server, and if it crashes, something broke. If it loads up the same old boring screen, then you've got it down correctly. So it's actually, you might wonder why we didn't just give you a basic project with template DIRs already in it, and that's because it's good to know where this stuff will end up being. If you don't know this stuff, this is part of the foundations, because there's different ways you can play with template directories, and this is the most common pattern, but there's also some tricks that happen later on in Django development with storing template directories in other apps. This is how we deal with a third-party application infrastructure in Django. And knowing how it operates, this is the first step in it. So there's a reason behind why we're including these 3 lines of code rather than just giving it to you in a boring project that handles everything for you. Okay? Raise your hand as you get this down. And you've tested it? Awesome. Moving forward. Unless anyone needs help. Okay? Nope. All right. Okay, yeah. So let's test. Let's see if we have our static media set up. So go to 127.0.1 8000, or in the case of this nice lady, 8001, and go to /static/css/bootstrap.min.css, and you should see a big old CSS file that's all compressed. Okay, does everyone see a big old CSS file? Raise your hand if you do. So what's that? Okay, yeah. So well, since we're waiting for a second, I'll tell you a story. Last August, Audrey and I were in San Francisco, and we went to the Twitter Bootstrap first anniversary party at Twitter headquarters, which is like Disneyland for developers. And if anyone tells you Twitter, there's no business model, they haven't actually looked at Twitter. But we actually got to listen to the two guys who created Twitter Bootstrap, and they gave a presentation, and those guys were such programmers, it was painful. Yes, they're nice guys. They're very nice though. Yes, sir. Oops. Yes. Don't forget, when you do this, you do need to have run server going.
I get an error. Page not found.
Okay. Let's. Hello? Okay, good. All right. Raise your hand if you need help. Okay. Helping one gentleman over there. Okay, I think we're going to go on to the next slide. We now have, if you see that CSS file, which I believe everybody has, you now have Twitter Bootstrap and jQuery set up. Believe it or not, it's actually easier to do this static file setup in Django now than it was. They've made it easier. It's still, yeah. So now we just have to document it. So anyway, okay, let's move forward. Let's build web pages. In this section of the course, we're going to go through Django templates, including turning an HTML template into a Django template, which is really easy. Some basic URL routing, template inheritance, and Django's template view class. So we already did this, so we're good. I guess we duplicated this between this section and the last section, but you already have a templates directory, which is good. Now, I guess this is a little bit of typing, but Audrey is passing around a, Audrey, what is the connection, the IP address, so that people can look at the slides? Hold on, let me write it down. And okay. This is in part 1. Hold on, let me just... What is that again, Audrey? Yeah, this is single threaded, so yeah. So don't. Where do you put that? In your browser. In your browser URL. Sorry. When you have that, raise your hand so I can. Okay, so let me. Did you need to be here or? Okay, so what we're doing, I haven't gone over this slide yet because people are. Okay, so getting back to the course, hopefully everyone has a URL or they can share. Make a new directory called templates inside of Cheesly repo /Cheesly at templates. And inside that directory, create a module called base.html. And then what you want to do is this code that you'll see at that URL, you can either copy it from here or you can look at it with that URL that Audrey so graciously provided. This is the stock Bootstrap template that they provide on their website, the Twitter Bootstrap template. If this is a lot of typing, like I said, you can go to that URL.
It doesn't work. It times out.
It times out? I think it's overloaded, yeah, because we just have it on simple H.
Save the files. Like once you get it, just save the files.
Yeah. No, it's not. It's simple HTTP server. Yeah. Yeah. What time is it? 10 to 4. Okay. Okay. To the break. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I think we'll do that. Yeah. Yeah. Can you hear me now? Okay, good. If you go to gist.github.com/pydanny, here, I'll steer you through it. And it is this first gist that is under my name. And so that way you can copy and paste that as per your heart's delight. Okay. And what I'll do, since we've had this excellent suggestion, thank you, Job, again. Everyone, buy him a beer tonight, or some wine, because we're in Italy. What we'll do is as we get the big code blocks, we'll paste them into GIST just to make it easier.
Should that second script, instead of calling technology here, should that just be JS and then the local JS?
This one right here? Yeah, if you want to alter that to point to your local, that's a good idea. Yeah, and the next step, we actually are going to modify this. Yes? Let me check. It's a GIST.
Okay, it was just a preview, sorry.
Okay, and again, what we're doing here, this is just an HTML file. In the next step, we are about to show you how an HTML file will turn into a Django template file.
Okay, so everybody has this. Raise your hand if you have it. Okay, no, you sir.
Just trying to find in GitHub where you keep the file.
Okay, so here, I'll come over. So before I continue, I have a real quick question. Do you pronounce it gist or gist? Raise your hand if you say it as gist. Okay, raise your hand if you say it as gist. And raise your hand if you do it both ways.
If you like to say this, it's need the gutter or
Okay. All right. So, oops. I guess this slide isn't done. But now you should be able to open that file in your browser. You can call up your browser in POSIX systems. I don't know if this works on Windows. You can just open up base.html and you'll see a stock bootstrap kind of look and feel that.
No, not yet.
Oh, not yet. Okay. Let's move on to the next slide.
It doesn't work on.
It doesn't?
No, it's not. It's not supposed to work
Okay.
yet.
It's not supposed to work yet. All right, I'm going to copy and paste this. What's that? Oh, okay.
Well, what would be better is are people having a hard time reading it in the back, or can you see it? Okay. So can you see that some of the lines are highlighted? Is that visible? Okay. So these are the lines to change in this step. Basically, this is just taking the previous HTML template and turning it into a Django template.
So, oops, feedback. Okay, so here we're not going to copy it into a GIST. We're going to let everybody give it a stab. This is where we're actually playing with the Django template language. So at the top, we're doing curly braces, percent load static files, one word, percent and curly braces. And just basically any line where you see that there is, oh, I see this is truncated, but any line where you see it highlighted, this is stuff that you're supposed to change from the template. So go ahead and do that, and then start up run server and or make these changes, and then we'll test it. We're not ready to test yet.
Yeah, Just pointing out a couple things. There's a block title here where you're like later on you're going to have templates that inherit this, and their content is just gonna go right into the block title, or their title will go into there. Their content will go into here, and then these lines that have the like static right here. These are using the Django's static files app to load these static files, or to point to these static files.
Yes. Yes. So turn the file you just put into your Django project, turn it into this. And the places where you are making changes are the highlighted lines.
It should say title of the Cheesley?
Yeah, Cheesley, and then that ends with title. I can fix that if that helps. Okay. And as you finish, just raise your hand so we can gauge when people are ready to move forward. Okay.
Or just look up.
If you need help, just raise your hand. All right, I'm coming to make my way over there.
I go to here get this arrow, but
Try base. Oops. Can you hear me? Oh, whoops. Let me.
So now that we have the base template, we're going to go ahead. Oh, sorry. Okay. Yeah. So I'll just talk while waiting. So here we've created a file called base.html, and this is a base template for our Django project. We're going to create other templates that inherit from this. So upcoming, if you're done, we're going to be creating a home template and an about template. over here. A single quote. Yes, we are missing a single quote right there. That's right here. There needs to be a single quote, so sorry about that. Good catch. Yeah, so right where the cursor is, put a closing single quote. Sorry. Should I make it a little bigger? Maybe. Does that help? Yeah, so just pretend that the cursor is a single quote. These spaces, I'm actually not sure, but it's good practice to put the spaces in. It's just good convention.
Yeah, actually, Cal Henderson's talk 5 years ago about Django, the first of the Django Sucks talks at a Django con, he brought up why is there this space here, and what it is it's purely convention. You can get rid of that space. It can be curly brace %sign static, but in the Django community, we add that space there just to make it more legible. So it's just a common practice. Okay, is everyone good? If you have any problems, raise your hand. Okay, I think we're ready to move on. Okay. Okay, so we're about to create this web page. That's our next step.
The home page. So,
and I'll gist this, I think. Should I put in a gist?
yeah, sure.
Okay.
Yeah, we're gonna put this in another gist for you. So you'll just copy it and save it into home.html.
Why am I?
Yes, at the same level as base.html.
So again, if you go to my personal account on GitHub, gist.github.com/pydanny, it's home.html. It's right there for you. And just
Is the
okay, and while you're doing that, while you're creating a new file called Cheesely repo Cheesely templates home.html, I'm gonna explain a little bit. Right here, this extends base.html. What that means is this template is inheriting from the base.html file that you've already created. So we don't need to include Twitter Bootstrap or anything like that. this already has it. Did someone just call my name? Oh, okay. Yeah, so inside the title, the block title, we have the home. Inside the content section, we are putting in our page-specific content. So raise your hand as you get this part done. Okay.
And just a reminder, 4:30 is the coffee break, or it's 16:30.
Okay, we're going to move forward. I think everybody has this. Okay, let's actually skip the about thing. I think people want to test the result. Is that okay? We'll grab an about page real quick. Okay. What's that? No, don't worry about that. That's a error.
Yeah, put the about.html file in the same place as the home.html file. This is just so we have two pages.
Okay. So ignore this pages thing. Just go ahead and put it in the about.html. Put that right here under templates. It is the next gist. If you, it is.
Yeah. Again, just github.com/pydanny.
So you'll see it right there. I created it 4 minutes ago.
You might have to click into it to see the whole file because.
Yeah, you have to click into it.
Because it truncates it.
Okay, does everybody have this template now? Okay, we'll move forward then. Okay, now we're going to wire some stuff up.
Yeah, that was what the pages.
What's that? Oh, this goes, don't put it here.
Actually, yes, we should just put the pages thing
Okay,
back because
all
it
right.
affects. Because the next slide depends on it. Did you see?
Okay.
Yeah, actually, sorry about that. Yes, we made a mistake. You should create a pages directory and put your home and about in there. So sorry about that. Not base. Base should base should be at the same level as your pages directory.
Hey. All right, raise your hand as you get this done. So when one of the things that I think when we'll do this again, or if we do it again, is we'll do the URL routing, which is this slide. We'll do this first, and then we'll have you throw errors and correct them by writing templates. But this is, if you go into Cheesley_repo, and I shouldn't have to actually create this for you. I mean, I shouldn't have to guess this for you. Go to Cheesley_repo, Cheesley/URL. So again, it's deep into the cheese. And then you're going to be adding a few lines of code. On the third line of code, and this is highlighted, even I can see it here, from Django.views.generic, import template view. Make sure you get the camel case of that correct. And then there's these 5 lines right here, where we specified the URL with the route, the particular view, and then we're going to actually name this route the about route. I didn't mean that. I didn't intend for that rhyme to happen. And then again, we also do it for the home. And here, we'll come around and look at your code and make sure it's good. Once you do that, if you type run server, you should be able to go to 127.0.0.1:8000 and see the home page. And you can also go append that with 8000// and get the about page. So Audrey and I will walk around and see how everyone's doing. Okay, is everyone good? How are we looking on this? Okay, I'm gonna, does anyone need any help? Raise your hand. Okay. So, okay, everyone can hear me. So as you know, what the template view class does in Django is it renders templates. It doesn't really do much beyond that. And what we are doing though is with both the home view and the about view, we're inheriting from the base.html view. So we don't have to type the code to get, or the HTML to get the media assets or other things. So that's template inheritance. So real quick, before we finish this section, we're going to add a nav bar. So we have this up at the top. You probably can't see it too well. And what I'm going to do is this will actually go into base.html. Would you like me to gist this, or do you want to try and type this out? Gist, okay. I'm just going to say Job. Should I gist this, or? Okay. Hold on. Okay, so again, if you visit me on GitHub, it's right here. And what I will do also is I will blow this up. And you'll notice right here, block content, that is already in base.html. Remember, this goes into base.html, which is in your templates directory. So Cheesly repo, Cheesly templates base.html. And take these lines that I've included. These go right above the block content line in base.html. Okay, so I couldn't fit everything on this one slide, but I thought I would. That's why we have the highlighted bits to let you know where things are supposed to go. I saw a couple people raising their hands. I will make my way around. Right, the highlighted part, that's what you're supposed to add. The block content, that's just a marker. That's a marker for what is there. I couldn't fit everything in. It's just an identifier. Any other questions? Hand raisings? Excuse me? Not in HTML. Whatever works best for you. Oops. The growing standard in HTML caused by Twitter Bootstrap is 2 spaces. For HTML indentation. In the Python community, we're all about 4 spaces. Yes? Yes, that is intended. We haven't added URLs. Yes. That's in, I think, the next slide. Yeah, actually I did. Yeah, we have 5 minutes, so we're going to move on. Does everybody have the nav bar in there? And you're probably, hey, this about link doesn't do me any good. Okay, now I'm not going to guess this. You guys have to figure this out. If you remember this slide right here, where I have this pound hashtag or pound, that's what we used to call it in when I was growing up speaking Americanese. We're going to replace that with this URL. You can do single quote, or from my German friends over there, double quotes. So curly brace, percent URL, double quote home, double quote percent that's for home. We're going to do home again because we have Cheesely. We want the Cheesely logo to link us to home. We want this to link us to home, and this, of course, sends us to about. And this is a URL naming this is the URL template tag in Django. And once everybody gets it in and tests it, I'll explain why we have this in Django and why it's important. Okay. And then the way to test this is once you have this in, refresh your screen, your browser, and click on About and see if you go to the About page, and click on Home and see if you go home. Okay, raise your hand if you have any problems. Raise your hand if you get it, if it works. Okay. Raise your hand if you need somebody to come over. Okay. So since I think a lot of people are getting this, the reason why we do this is right now about, which we had in that Python file, a few lines, the urls.py, right now about, if I look at that URL, it says 127/whatever, 8000/about. What happens when I want to change it to say about-us? Well, with this, rather than changing 1,000 HTML files or configuration scripts, I just go to urls.py and I change it in one place. That's because this goes into that urls.py file and it changes wherever I've specified this. It'll change about. If I want to change it in that urls.py, the actual URL to about-us, it handles that for us. And it's kind of like this nice, neat feature that a lot of modern frameworks do. Not just Django, Flask, Rails, all that good stuff. Okay. Anyone else need help on this one? Raise your hand. Okay, I'm going to move forward then. Okay, so the nice thing about Twitter Bootstrap is it's an easy win for developers because we're not just looking at ugly white pages. And then we get to, since you guys are building this, you get to be like, hey, I've got a design. Let me focus on the back-end code. So that's the end of this entire section. Hold on. So I think we're about ready for a break. Is that right? Yeah. Okay. And next we're going to dive into, let's see, what are we going to dive into? We're going to build the cheese app, which is going to track our cheese. We're finally getting, not just diving into cheese for settings, we'll be adding cheese to the site. So I think we're ready for a break. Thank you.